Hey gang, and welcome back. These videos are brought to you by Card Conduit, the best place to sell your unused collection fast and easily. 401 Games, Canada's top shop for all your hobby and TCG needs. Dragon Shield, the strongest sleeves for your strongest decks. Moxfield, the easiest way to store and share your deck lists. And Foil Armor, flatten your foils fast. Kuzno wins the die roll and starts us off. He draws for turn and plays a tap Myriad Landscape. Kaylee just plays a Flood Farm Verge and passes. Desmond draws, plays a Path of Ancestry, and chips it. I've got a Port Town, revealing Canopy Vista, and then cast a Soul Ring and ship it after that. Kuzno draws, playing an island and paying 2 for Blade of Selves. Kaylee's turn has her playing a Shivan Reef, and she pays 2 for a Boros Signet. Desmond's got an island, and a signet of his own with Talisman of Dominance. I draw an incorrectly read Dreamroot Cascade, thinking it comes in untapped. I then cast Kadama of the West Tree, and pass. Kuzno's got an island, and pays 2 for Lightning Greaves. Kaylee plays Glacial Fortress, and then takes the damage from her Shivan Reef to help cast Frostcliff Siege, naming Temur as it comes in. Desmond's got a mountain, and casts a Rakdos Signet. Once that resolves, he follows up with Herald of Slaanesh, and passes. I play a Forge of Heroes, and cast a Sphere Grid. Going to combat, I hit Kuzno with Kadama, dealing 3, and then put a +1/+1 counter onto it because of the Sphere Grid. Kuzno's got a Reliquary Tower, and then casts Hermes, and once his commander's out, moves to equip the Lightning Greaves onto him, and passes after it resolves. Kaylee's got a mountain, and she then casts Narset. With haste, she's able to swing Narset at Desmond for 4, but with no spells and graveyards to cast, just passes after that. Desmond's got an island, and casts Keeper of Secrets. He follows that up with Swiftfoot Boots, and passes. I play a Flooded Grove, and cast Yuna, and then activate the Forge of Heroes to put a +1/+1 counter onto her. Going to combat, I hit Kaylee for 4 with Kadama, and since it's modified, get to go and find a basic to the field. Kuzno's main phase has him casting a Mana Vault, and then casts Thundertrap Trainer, paying for the Offspring cost. He gets Gust of Wind, and an Unable to Scream off the Enter the Battlefield triggers, and passes after that. Kaylee draws and continues to set up her turns, casting Whirlwind of Thought, and Narset gets a Prowess trigger and she goes to combat. She then hits me for 5 with Narset, but once again has no spells to cast. Desmond draws and plays Be'lakor in his main phase, drawing 3 and losing 3 as the demon enters. The Keeper then deals 6 to Kuzno, and Desmond then plays a Haunted Ridge as his land for turn. He then pays 1 to move the Swiftfoot Boots onto Be'lakor. With the ability on the stack, Kaylee responds with the Swords to Plowshares, and draws off the Whirlwind of Thought, and Desmond's commander is then exiled, gaining him some life. Desmond then continues his turn with the Sundial of the Infinite, and passes. My main phase has me activating Yuna for some mana, and then cast Maester Seymour. It enters with 2 +1/+1 counters, and I go to combat, and put 3 +1/+1 counters onto Kadama thanks to Seymour's trigger. I then swing the Kadama at Desmond, who takes the hit, and because it's modified, I get to go and find an island. My second main phase then has me playing a Canopy Vista, and I pass turn. Kuzno takes 1 from Mana Vault, draws for turn, and plays a Muraganda Raceway. He then casts Unable to Scream and targets Maester Seymour, making a bird token thanks to the Hermes trigger. Going to combat, Kuzno swings the Thundertrap Trainer at Kaylee for 1. She takes the hit, and Kuzno then cracks the Myriad Landscape. Kaylee draws, and then plays a Felwar Stone in her main phase, drawing again from Whirlwind of Thought. She ships it after that. Desmond's turn has him playing a tapped Halimar Depths and rearranging his top 3, and he then recasts Be'lakor again. Once more he draws 3, and loses 3, and gets a Keeper trigger. He then moves the Swiftfoot Boots onto Be'lakor, and this time Kaylee can't save us. Going to combat, Desmond then hits me for 6 with his commander, and passes. I draw and go straight to combat, swinging Kadama and Seymour at Kuzno. He blocks Seymour with Hermes, and chumps Kadama with the Thundertrap Trainer, but still takes 7 from Trample. I get another basic, and add another counter onto Kadama, and I then tap Yuna in my second main phase. I use the mana to help cast Waka, who comes in with 2+1/+1 counters. I then move to my end step, and get to put a counter onto each creature thanks to Waka's ability, and pass. Kuzno's main phase has him playing Gust of Wind and targeting Kadama, and it resolves. He then plays Emergent Zone, and goes to combat. He sends a bird token at me, which has Kuzno scrying 2 from Hermes, and I then take the hit. In his second main phase, he then plays a Phantasmal Image, having it come in as a copy of the Thundertrap Trainer. This time around he gets a Cryptic Command off of it, and he then casts a Pilgrim's Eye, going to find a basic. He passes, and during the end step, Kaylee casts a Braid, picking the mode to destroy Desmond's Swiftfoot Boots, and draws a card from the Whirlwind and moves to her turn. Kaylee draws and casts Bria, and goes to combat. She swings Narset at me, and on attack, gets to cast Swords to Plowshares from her graveyard, exiling Waka, and getting some prowess triggers. Bria also makes Narset unblockable, and I then take the hit, with Kaylee passing after that. Desmond's playing a Foreboding Ruins for turn, which comes in tapped, and he casts a Mirror Gallery. He then casts Mirror Mockery, and targets Be'lakor. Kuzno responds to this with a Pact of Negation, and it counters a spell. Going to combat, Desmond swings Be'lakor at me, and I take the hit for 6, and he passes after that. I just draw and tap Yuna to help recast Kadama. It comes in with 2+1/+1 counters, and I swing Seymour at Kaylee. She takes the hit, and I get to find another basic from Kadama's trigger, and I pass turn after that. Kuzno's upkeep has 2 triggers going off, taking 1 from the Mana Vault, and he then pays for his Pact of Negation, and then draws her turn. He plays an island, and going to combat, swings 2 birds at Desmond, and 1 at Kaylee. Kuzno gets to scry 2, while Desmond and Kaylee take their hits, and Kuzno passes. Kaylee draws and casts a Monastery Mentor, and once that's out, casts Soul Ring. This has her making a monk, getting some prowess triggers, and makes Narset unblockable with the Bria trigger, plus drawing a card from the Whirlwind of Thought. Going to combat, Kaylee says Narset at Kuzno, and her on-attack trigger has Gust of Wind getting targeted in Kuzno's graveyard. She casts it, and bounces Yuna with it, and Kaylee gets to make another monk, pump her creatures, and draw a card again. In her second main phase, Kaylee just plays an island and passes. Desmond draws and plays the key to the vault, and then equips the key onto Be'lakor. Going to combat, he swings Be'lakor at Kaylee, who takes the hit for 6. Desmond then plays a Terramorphic Expanse, and follows up with Thassa Deep Dwelling. Moving to his end step, he flickers the Keeper of Secrets, and with her entering, deals 6 damage to Bria to take her out. Desmond then passes turn. I've got a Rejuvenating Springs, and then swing both creatures at Desmond. He blocks Kadama with the Keeper, but takes the hit for 4. In my second main phase, I then cast Farewell, choosing creatures and graveyards. Once that's done, I replay Yuna, and then put a counter onto her with the Forge of Heroes. Kuzno's upkeep has him untapping the Mana Vault, drawing, and then playing an island and passing. Kaylee draws, and recasts Narset, and then casts Saheeli Sublime Artificer, drawing from the Whirlwind. Going to combat, Kaylee hits me for 5 with Narset, and passes. During the end step, Desmond cracks the Terramorphic Expanse to find a basic. Desmond draws and recasts Be'lakor, who enters and draws him 1 and loses him 1 life. He then plays an Exotic Orchard, and going to his end step, flickers Be'lakor again, drawing 1 and losing 1 as it re-enters. My main phase has me casting Freed from the Real, and I target Yuna, but Kuzno is ready with a Cryptic Command to counter it, and picks the second mode to draw a card. I then cast a Market Back Walker, putting 5 into the X, plus it enters with 2 extra counters from Yuna's ability, and I then pass turn. Kuzno's got an island, and casts Archaeomancer, which as it enters, returns to hand Cryptic Command. He then recasts Hermes, and moves Lightning Greaves to it before passing turn. Kaylee draws, and plays an Inspiring Vantage, and then casts a third Path Iconoclast. She follows up by casting Baral's Expertise, targeting the Market Back Walker, Yuna, and Lightning Greaves, and Kuzno lets it resolve. Kaylee's then able to cast Big Score thanks to Baral's Expertise for free, discarding a card, drawing 2 cards, and making 2 treasure tokens, not to mention pumping her team, and making some tokens, and just all around having a lot of value. She then declares she'll move to combat. This has Kuzno casting Cryptic Command, picking the mode to tap all opponent's creatures, and bounce the Frostcliff Siege. But Kaylee responds with Narset's Reversal, copying it instead, and bouncing Kuzno's copy. This has her tapping everyone else's board, and bounces Bellicor. Kaylee then sends the Iconoclast and 2 tokens at Desmond, and Narset at me, and the rest of the tokens at Kuzno. With enough prowess pumping her creatures to take everyone out, Kaylee's able to take out 3 opponents in one single combat step. Game review time. So this was another great one, with a lot of decks really getting to showcase what they can do. In the case of Narset, I think Kaylee played the deck really well, and I think it performed very well for her. I'd say the strongest card in this game was probably that Frostcliff Siege. I didn't realize it at the time, but it also gave all of her creatures haste. I thought it was just +1/+0 and trample, which was not a big threat. Unfortunately, what it meant was that all the tokens that she was making in her pre-combat main phase were able to attack, plus they all had prowess, and it just got out of hand so fast. So that was a big oops on my part for not naming enchantments with Farewell. This video wouldn't be possible without the help from my sponsors, but it definitely wouldn't be possible without the help from you, the viewers, and my patrons. So I just want to say thank you for watching, and to remember, friends are just opponents you haven't eliminated yet.